How many calories did you end up losing overall? 3,800. But you know what I lost the more than that? My dignity. Mid-job yesterday, King Hustle. Yeah, you try being fucking 245 pounds and 6'4", okay? And dodge these motherfucking balls. So happy I finally got a squeeze collab. Yeah, never again. So yesterday we did the dodgeball. We did the dodgeball thing. We dodged some balls. Some dodged better than others. Okay, I'll admit. And that's it. Hope you're ready for the memes. No, I'm ready for the memes. That's what it's for. It's you. I saw the Vorlo thing, and like, while it is funny, I would like to see, like, I wish I had a better assessment of like my stats, like how many eliminations I had, how many hits, that kind of thing, how many throws. I know that there's got to be someone with that like stat autism in the chat that will fucking compile this. Because I got a shit ton of elims. I had a really good double elim at a certain point too. I had a double elim, and then me and Dan Clancy, like all of the elims we had were we did it together deliberately. So like, and highlights of the players as well. Yeah, I know. I never had like a big pop off moment like Misgift did. We'll talk about all of that though. I've literally never played dodgeball in my life. That was the first time I played. The breakaway talent, best moment probably Michael Reeves. Best out of nowhere pop off was Michael Reeves. Like I'm gonna give you guys my assessment on the entire thing in a second. All right. So first we're gonna start out with dodgeball. Okay. First order of business. By the way, you were right about Dan being surprisingly good at dodgeball for some reason. Yeah, I told you guys, Dan is like one of those like in shape ass dudes for his age. Like, I knew it. I knew he was gonna be decent. He was great. There were times when he carried. He was a good tactician. He was a good strategist. The issue is we don't have like at a certain point, like a lot of people are like, oh, Willin, like someone in the chat said Willin Ludd smoked you. 100%. But there's only so much we can do. I've never played dodgeball in my entire life. I'm a massive target. At first, like the first game I was lasering, but at the end of the day, a lot of people don't realize if you're in a team where there's like a more balanced play, where there's like multiple fucking people that can throw, for example, when there's multiple people that can throw and there's multiple people that can dodge, like if it's a more balanced team, then you can preserve your strength more. You know what I mean? And like obviously the teams are supposed to be like fun and balanced. Why'd you gotta hit Dan for his age? Because he's like 50 plus. Are you kidding me? Dan said he had walked or jogged 5 miles before that. I mean, look. Were the balls spongy or rubber? No, unfortunately they were rubber. Nice victim mentality for playing dodgeball. Guys, it's a fun game. Like, I don't know why. It's not that serious. I think you're the one who's taking it super seriously. I'm going to give you analysis on it in a joking fashion, but also like, yeah, we got our shit pushed in. I mean, there's not much we can do about it. The thing is, like, Will's team had a lot of fucking carries. Like, Mo was really good. The other random dude, like the other kick streamers were good. Sapnap was incredible. You know what I mean? Caroline played phenomenal. Like there are a shit ton. See, like people go, Will is the whole team. No, that's because you love Will. Okay, that's insane to say when you got fucking Sapnap throwing slammers. Like Will played phenomenally well. Of course he did. He's very good. He's a very athletic guy. Okay, but like if you're making an honest assessment, these teams had like a lot of really good players. Ludd played really well, but then so did Michael Reeves. So did Saikuno, as a matter of fact, which was surprising for me. The thing is, you're not going to be able to you're not going to be able to balance out the weight. If they're like the teams that have more players that can actually like throw well are going to be able to preserve their arms better. Over the course of like a 10 to 15 minute period, they're going to be able to keep doing it without getting gassed as much. Ray played well as well. Team YouTube did great. Lily had like a bunch of phenomenal catches, which was cool. The reason why Dan and I have this photo is because we very early on realized like we're not the best, right? Neither of us has like a solid throw. It's just we would do the best we can to just like go after people and like throw 2 balls at the same time or 3 balls at the same time. I've never heard dodgeball analyzed so deeply. You and a Twitch team would slay at a basketball creator tournament? I mean, it depends. If I'm being honest, like for example, when we were playing against YouTube, we lost to YouTube because of that Michael Reeves catch. We were winning, and then Michael Reeves had that phenomenal catch out of nowhere, and it was over. That Michael Reeves catch was so out of control. It absolutely destroyed. Did you give up balling up rage? No, absolutely not. I'm still down. I think a lot of people forget, and this is something that I've mentioned quite a bit. I'm not like a profoundly athletic person. I'm strong, and I'm good at certain things. But the things I'm good at because I've trained a lot. I've never had anything like I've never had a natural talent for anything in my entire life. So yeah, for my size, I can move a lot better than you would think because I'm, many people forget, like I'm fucking 245 pounds. But the place where I'm the most nimble is basketball. Statue. Michael Reeves didn't even realize he caught it. Like a statue. I can't believe he caught that. Like that's when it ended. That's like when the game changed dramatically. Cause like, look, it's 3-2. We have 4 players. They have 3. They have Michael Reeves and Ludd. Or no, not even Ludd. Ludd actually runs in immediately. They have 2 players. It's 4-2. It's 4-2. 4 against 2. It's Team Twitch has 3 wins. Team YouTube has 2 wins. Miskiff fucking lasers Michael. Or Michael tosses one. It's a miss. Dan hits Michael. Miskiff lasers Michael. Michael catches it. Ludwig immediately runs it in the chaos while we're literally all going, holy shit. Dan hits Ludd. Michael hits Emily. I hit Michael again. He blocks. He hits me, and I don't know if he actually hit me there. Like I think I dodged it, but it doesn't matter. But that's when it was 4-2, and then there's Sage res their top frag and they sweep. No, I'm saying like that was when we lost. We were doing pretty well other than that. Miz talked about this. Said he caught it on accident. Yeah, Michael Reeves literally didn't know he caught it. He thought he was out. You could see it in his face. He said it. I talked to him afterwards. Like he literally did not realize he even caught it. Look. Look, he goes, oh, and then he's like, oh my God, I caught it. But yeah, I mean, it's for fun. It's supposed to be balanced. It's supposed to be for fun. And obviously the team that had like the most balanced team where like every player could contribute evenly, which plays a big role. One, like if you had, did you know that Will was the band streamer beforehand? Brother, I drove in with Will. What do you think? I was faking it when I was doing commentary. Like what? I don't know if you know this, but you know, I am an entertainer. I might not be super entertaining at all the time, but you know, my goal is to be an entertainer, and part of that is misdirection. Yes, there was a lot of fun. I don't even know where this is from. Do you guys have the video? What the fuck was I doing on this? This is such a funny fucking moment. But yeah. You actually did kill it while doing commentary though? Yeah, well. I wonder how many limbs I had. I want to know. Cause me and Dan were fucking synced up. We were cooking him up a little bit. I had one double which was good. But none of those are fucking cool enough. None of those are my limbs were always like catching someone off guard or having them fail to catch. Except for the one double limb in the beginning. And it's like it sucks. There's none of them are like good enough to post. You know what I mean? There was no like incredible moment like that. But yeah. Caroline was fucking awesome. Caroline was incredible at dodging. Like it was shocking. Why am I proud of this? Yeah, this wasn't even like a cool moment. This was me just mauling because I got fucking nailed in the leg. Another problem is that the commentators were shitting on you every time. So the consensus to everyone watching is that you're bad. Oh, they were? Yeah, I forget how much like commentary adds to that. I mean, yeah, I'm always gonna be the fucking butt of the joke. Slime and Nick was hammering on you. My favorite two dodges were you and Caroline during the anthem. Yeah, they were making fun of everybody. I don't think they were just making fun of me. But yeah, you and Caroline during the national anthem. What? Oh.
There, oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the...
You just had the most catchable balls, but it makes sense because throwing feels weird if you don't grow up doing it at all. They said you threw like a girl. Oh, that's what they were saying. Because I saw some comments like that. The first game I threw some fucking heaters, but I was out after that. I don't have good throwing technique. Like if you haven't played dodgeball, you did a pretty good job for your first time. That was the first time ever playing dodgeball. Height is definitely a unfortunate problem here too. I was thinking it would help if you stood sideways to make yourself a smaller target. Would you ever play it again? Sure. I enjoy doing physical stuff. I mean, I do get upset. We just have to do We just have to play fucking basketball. That's what we need to do. Song is rolled by a dodgeball. Stop lying. Wait, what?
Fiona, I disagree with that. Fiona, you stay in. Yeah, why not?
What is this? Oh, this is from the...
Fiona, I disagree with that.
God, this is like... Dude, I was so big back then. This is like the first time we did like physical shit after being indoors for years, dude. This was a crazy time. Look at this. June 27, 2021.
Fiona,
That was the first time I ever played dodgeball.
stay in. Yeah, why not? Oh, wow. Oh, and Hassan goes down. A painful, powerful shot to the shoulder. He's back in the safety of the shade.
Can't believe y'all had a cage match in the middle of the tournament. You kids play dodgeball in Turkey? No. I was so out of breath back then. That was crazy. Okay, first of all, remember, every one of your favorite streamers is fucking dead now, okay, after yesterday. I woke up this morning at 7 a.m. and I went and I worked out, okay? Just like I worked out the day before and I worked out the day before, okay? Squatted, did some fucking back workout. I actually kind of tweaked my left rotator cuff again, but not from dodgeball, but from before. It's fine. It's not the end of the world. It's a little bit of pain, but overall, you know, I'm fucking grinding. I'm grinding out here. David Goggins asked, well, yeah, someone's got to carry the boats. You know, who's going to carry the boats?
Stance takes an arrow to the knee.
Oh, God, you're old.
Jesus Christ.
Millennial, put him on
imploded.
Facebook. Yeah, that is horrible. Holy shit.
I'm trying my best, guys.
Yeah, that was tough.
When you throw the dodgeball, you should go grip on the ball like a loose hand job to get the fast throw. Not as accurate, but as speed.
That's really messed up.
Can I have the cheeseburgers next for Hassan?
Oh, Austin, is that a dodge? Notice, I just kind of dropped it in there. You didn't have to
I
sit
know we're
on
total
it.
assholes.
You didn't have to sit
we
on
just
it.
turn on Hassan.
Oh, feeling like a bit of a Trollo performance
that's
for Team Chess Boxing. Okay. Wait, they hit
no.
Miskip was really good, unsurprisingly. He's a typical fucking wrestler. He did his best, but there's not much. He did his best, but there's literally not. There's only so much you can do. He was like the hard carry in that situation, and they targeted him aggressively from the jump. And when they targeted him so aggressively from the fucking jump, it's impossible to dodge as many. It's impossible to dodge so much. You know what I mean? You can only dodge so much. Like, New Fiora said, looking like the Nathan Fielder man zone, by the way. Okay, guys, I know you guys all had a day off from streaming, so you had all your fucking memes ready. But goddamn, stop sending me the same shit over and over again. But yeah. Probably the best picture of the event. No, not this one. The one where she's on her knees on the ground with her hands up like that is the best one. The SNL's getting canceled for making fun of the campus anti-Semitism brouhaha. No, but I do love the word brouhaha. It should be used more, I think. But yeah, Will played phenomenal. I can't believe Lud stole Will from me. That was really fucked up. Caroline played phenomenal. Everybody played really well. Stop sending me the Hamas joke, please. This was a really good meme as well. Look at this one. This one's funny as fuck. Team Twitch almost had it. I love my favorite Twitch guy mentality is like, yeah, everyone played really well. Everyone did a really good job. We had a great time. And someone has to go like, you suck though. Dude, you sucked. Yeah, dude, I didn't play well. Okay. I was not good. NMP Law, I played great too. I'm coming to the next OTK game day. I also have never played football though. So I'll definitely get my ass handed to me on that front too. He's mad he wasn't invited. That's a good meme. Anyway. You're built for football? I mean, not fucking flag football. Flag football doesn't require you to like actually physically hit someone or take hits. So no. And neither does dodgeball. I'm not built for any of these fucking sports, okay? Azan can't move at all is not this is not correct. I will take offense to this. You're not God, I hate fucking couch potatoes on stupid ass fucking Twitch being like, Azan can't move at all. Bitch, for 245 fucking pounds, I move way better than you would expect, okay? Bro, I play baseball high level. Your only issue is that you didn't grow up playing it. You look normal for not throwing since you were a kid. Yeah, I've never played baseball. I've never played dodgeball. I don't know how to throw fucking like the only way I know how to throw a ball is shooting it. I've only played basketball. Anyway, which we will eventually do as well. You had serious potential for some heater throws. You just need to work on technique. Your group was so aggressive that a lot of them sank way early. You got to work on finesse, bro. Dude, that is one thing I will say. The only thing that I was the only pain I was feeling afterwards, I mean, beyond like being hit like a fucking Mack truck after, like, I got out of the Uber and I straight up was like, oh my fucking God. I thought I was perfectly fine, right? 5 hours playing dodgeball for like 3 hours uninterrupted. I thought everything is fine. I'm like, you know, I'm built for this. I play basketball for hours and hours and hours. You know, I work out a lot. And then I fucking sat down. I sat down and I could not get up. I was like, oh my God, I'm so tired. It hit me like a fucking Mack truck. But outside of that, the only thing I felt pain in still is like my forearm. Because I think I was just like gripping. Here's your best moment from yesterday.
Oh, that was good.
Okay. Did that feel...
There was hatred in that.
Yeah,
there
right?
was hatred.
He was
Him
mad
and
at the
Cheryl,
ref on that one.
Miskip said, let me do it again. So what can he fall? Oh, that was good.
Okay.
That's it. Me looking thick. Were you happy with how Chad Vice went? I feel like it was S tier content. No, absolutely. It was awesome. But yeah, I'm happy about it overall. I'm happy about the dodgeball tournament overall. I think it was fun. I need to do more collaborations with people. Getting hit by a dodgeball feels like you're getting spanked very hard. No, not at all. These dodgeballs are not normal dodgeballs. They're smaller. and they like they're not rubber. They're made out of like sponge. I should have practiced. I should have practiced at least throwing. I think that was a big mistake for me. That way I could have had some better hits. Can we get another Chavai sooner from a year from now? I'm one of the 3 people who weren't able to ask their question. Yeah. Ludwig and I are actually working on... Oh, this is the best picture from the event, I think. Ludwig and I are working on something as far as basketball goes. Everybody chill out. look good on a meme, but it's like completely removed from reality. Anyway, the genius of a government with so many veto points is that it's impossible to assign blame or credit to anyone for almost anything because no single person or government body is sufficient cause of most government actions. In practice, what this means is that partisans credit the president for everything that passes even though he cannot unilaterally pass anything, but do not blame him for anything that fails to pass because, after all, he cannot unilaterally pass anything. As to what motivates survey response, it's clear enough that a lot of survey responding is expressive in the sense that people don't attempt to answer the question that is presented to them, but instead consciously or subconsciously use the question as a proxy for things like, do you like the president? Or how do you feel about the state of the country? Or similar. The funniest example of this I've seen that shortly after Biden was elected, the percent of Democratic survey respondents said they felt financially comfortable buying a new refrigerator massively shot up. A couple of years ago, it became popular to dismiss polling that showed people liked progressive ideas by saying it was unreliable. But weirdly, those talking points that position presented as the alternative other polling that worded questions about these ideas differently in order to generate more negative responses. Now it seems people are finally coming around to the more natural conclusion that topical polling is itself meaningless, not just when it shows support for public health insurance. So his idea is that, you know, people are too stupid to understand, or not even too stupid, but people don't think about it from an educated perspective of like whether the economy is fucking better off or not. And it's just vibes based. And the vibes are not even about like paying for a hamburger, but you can certainly point to paying for hamburger as a reason, as a problem. I'm sorry, brother, but it's a hard disagree for me. Fudge rounds are now $5, and I now weigh 275 pounds. The economy's killing me. By the way, don't ever let people tell you that fast food prices are not an important indicator of how the economy is doing. Even economists, like neoliberal economists, look at fast food prices as a good indicator of how the economy is doing. So the idea that like people act like that's so silly. Those I fucking yeah, no, there is like the idea that fast food prices are not like important or valid is silly. I think it's a little infantilizing to presume the greater population is too dumb to get it. Wouldn't it be more indicative that the ways in which we measure economic health aren't concretely tied to material well-being? Yes. Yeah, for the record, I loved this Matt Bruning conversation because this is exactly the same question I've asked as well to those who have made this point. You pretend to argue about question one, and then you lose on question one, you pivot to question three. I can't tell if that's because you are dishonest or stupid. He says, I mean, just objectively, if you were to describe a snapshot of the current U.S. economy to me, I'd tell you it's bad. Welfare state, unions, public ownership, inequality, poverty are all way off where they ought to be. It's sad because Matt's a smart guy, but he's also a troll. The U.S. economy is bad because of stuff that's been true for decades is obviously not a serious answer to an argument over why people are so much more miserable today than in 2019 when conditions were similar or worse. Matt, you're literally just trolling. Is the economy good as compared to all possible economies over any period of time? Is an absurd question no one is asking, except as a device to arrive at the answer. No, it's not how real people think about this. That's bullshit. Analyzing is the economy good by applying your own framework for analyzing the economy, in my case, a social democratic framework, is not absurd. And it apparently is so destructive to what you are doing that you pretend I'm doing something totally different. Based on your framework for what makes an economy good, do you think that the economy is good? Question mark. Don't pivot to how people are lying to survey takers and how Biden did the best he can. I want an applying of Stansel's ideology on the economy. To which Will says, yes, was that not clear the first 3,000 times? To which Matt responds, so you've repudiated your prior belief that the economy needs big structural change to be good. Which is a great question to ask someone who defended Elizabeth Warren. Why were you an Elizabeth Warren supporter then? It makes no sense. Why didn't you support Joe Biden unconditionally from the jump? There's no need to vote for Elizabeth Warren. There's no need to vote for Bernie Sanders. If you think that, the economy is good and it will continue being good under Democratic leadership, why would you ever push for a change? Also, Biden and Trump's economies are essentially identical, and they're both good by Stansel's ideology, which I must assume is fiscally conservative neoliberalism. So it then shouldn't matter who is president or in Congress as far as the economy goes. Yes, this is what I was getting at in the last tweet. Stansel has decided that he can say 2023 looks good, a lot like 2019, to prove that the economy was good. But actually, Stansel's position in 2019 is that the economy was bad and we need big structural change to make it good. Matt, basing your entire rebuttal around imputations of my views from the fact that I like Elizabeth Warren is not doing a good job of proving that you're not a Bernie dead-ender whose brain was melted by your guy losing 2 consecutive primaries, which is a ridiculous fucking counter because Elizabeth Warren lost even harder than Bernie Sanders. But it also kind of shows the position that Will has, which is the position that a lot of Elizabeth Warren defenders had. They don't really care if the Democratic Party continues winning. They don't really care if, no matter who's at helm. Aesthetically, they want to deviate away sometimes, right? But ultimately, they're fine. Why are so many people saying Hassan burp on command for us? I do not have this capacity. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, chatter. Because of Hoscord? I make the same point in my piece about every Bernie supporter as well. The premise of both campaigns circa 2019 was that an economy that looks like what we had in 2019, which is similar to what we have now, is awful. And they were right. Didn't you actually believe the 2019 economy was bad? Like, isn't that the reason you supported Warren? Same reason why I supported Bernie? Or did you think that it was good and disagree with Warren and Bernie on that point, but supported them for other reasons, foreign policy? I don't know. No, I didn't think the 2019 economy was particularly bad. It's way better, though. Anyway. Do you think the economy today is better than it was here? Anything other than yes is a lie. Also arguing that the economy is rigged, has underlying issues, and the same as saying it was bad is childish. I don't understand how neoliberal pundits are this dumb and have hundreds of thousands of followers. Wait, what do you mean? Their goal is to contextualize what you are experiencing in a way that makes you feel like you're smart. Everybody does this to a certain degree. Wouldn't it be more accurate to say that our economy sucks in general under Biden? It was just less sucky than before. On metrics that are on metrics that capitalists look at, yes, Joe Biden has seemingly under his watchful reign. If you look at unemployment as like a sole factor, if you look at only things like that, then yeah, Joe Biden is killing it, dude. And you guys are peasants for not recognizing it. Okay? Problem is, many people don't look at it from those metrics, understandably, because they look at the money that they have in their pocket at the end of a fucking month. And from that front, it takes a while to even assume or recognize the recovery. It takes a long-ass time to get there. This is why we often talk about how Democrats will come in and actually apply neoliberal principles, or not neoliberal principles, but like do a little bit of social safety nets and like balance the budget or whatever. And then Republicans will come back in and take advantage of that. Every single time. Democrats come in and, engage in the ratcheting effect, keep a lot of the social provisions in place or social regressions in place, refuse to fucking push on that front, fix up the economy a little bit, and sometimes even make permanent a lot of the inflationary or a lot of the awful policy measures of like not or reducing the tax burden of the top earners in this country. And then it takes a while for people to recognize the recovery of the Democratic Party. What is this? David Sirota, depressing as fuck. He's been vague posting about people trying to protect genocidal language. What? I doubt it.
Session over? And if so, what did we learn from it? And why is there still a gap between vibes and hard data? If you looked at just hard data, you'd think that the economy is booming. Retail sales are up, GDP is flying, and the labor market is strong. But the vibes are sending a different signal, a confusing one, in which people think their financial situation is good, but the economy is getting worse at the same time. Can you be generally happy with your personal financial position and still think the economy is going in the tank? For a broad section of Americans, apparently so. Can the good time...
Bro, you are never going to convince motherfuckers that the economy is doing wonderful when healthcare costs are fucking unimaginably high, which is part of what factors into your real wages going up. You don't actually see it in your fucking pocket. Okay? Rent is out of control. Healthcare is out of control. Grocery prices are certainly higher, but that's not the major consideration here. A lot of people hyper-focus on the fucking grocery prices and go, oh, dude, like, this is $90 now. Like, oh, look at my grocery bag. It's so expensive. No, the real fucking issue is shit that you cannot, shit that there's no diversity for. Like, you have to be stuck with these big purchases, big ticket items, okay? Health insurance is unimaginably expensive. When your company is paying for that percentage of your health insurance being unimaginably expensive, it looks like your fucking real wages have gone up because that's a part of your benefits package. But you didn't see that in your fucking pocket. If you look at, buddy, what the fuck are you replacing groceries with? There are cheaper alternatives. There's significantly more cheaper alternatives to food items that you're purchasing, and the price increase, the inflation increase on groceries and food items is marginal in comparison to what I'm talking about. It's still high, but it is marginal in comparison to what I'm talking about. And the real reason why people don't understand, like, well, real wages are going up is because, yeah, a part of your compensation is your benefits. And your benefits package directly seemingly goes up because healthcare prices are higher, insurance prices are higher, and your company is paying for that. So when your company's paying for that insurance price, you don't even fucking think about that because that never comes into your pocket. You never think about that. That's a major flaw in our analysis. My job is not raise our wages since 2019. They're switching our insurance to some shady pre-bill company next year and essentially giving us a pay cut. Yep. There are a lot of deviations in like, or there's a lot of diversity in like what kind of fucking brand that you can get. There's also like you go from brand names to store bought prices. You can shift around in a way that you can't with your housing, or in a way that you can't shop around with your fucking in a way that you can't shop around with your healthcare. It's not like people are shopping for Gucci eggs. You can't find alternatives for the basics. Brother, you are failing to understand. One of the most important factors here is that healthcare inflation, healthcare costs, okay, and insurance costs that contribute to your supposed real wage increase, okay, that is not a thing that you even see. Normally, if it actually factored in to your dollary dues that you see at the end of the day, then inflation on food costs would not be all that significant for you, because technically now you have more money, so you can buy the same exact shit. It's more expensive, but now you're making more money. That's how it's supposed to work. And it looks like you're making more money on the graph, but part of the reason why it doesn't look like you're actually making more money, despite what the graph says, is because all of those real wages and that increase from the real wages are directly going to your fucking rent, which is skyrocketed, and more importantly, your goddamn healthcare costs, okay? Your insurance costs, which you never even see. You never even see that increase. It shows up in the graph because that's a part of the benefits package that you're getting. But it's not the same as you seeing that increase in your salary. You want to know why? Because your company's paying for it. They're reporting it. Your salary is not $100,000 a year. Your salary is $100,000 a year plus benefits, okay? And those benefits are being factored into your like overall your boss's those benefits actually factor into your wages, okay? Your total wage package. Your cost to your company to hire you and retain you. It's a much different number. That number is the reason why a lot of our our supposed wage increases is. That's where that comes from. When people go, "Oh, dude, what are you talking about? Everyone's wages are up. What the fuck do you mean?" And it's like, no, it's not. It's not up. Or at least people don't see it as up. And they shouldn't see it as up. Because you're not doing better. You're not doing better at all in your real experiences, because inflation on consumer goods has gone up, and your wages have gone up on paper, but they haven't actually gone up. Your compensation package is more costly to your bosses because they're paying more for fucking healthcare, which is completely unhinged.
Times last, can inflation keep on dropping? People are anxious about that. So what's the real story? Last year, market analysts were slow to understand the importance of vibes. People were feeling bad and we weren't paying attention. So what would we think about the economy right now if we got the vibe analysis right this time? Here's what Justin Wolfers thinks. Vibes drove inflation and now they're speeding disinflation. He's right and the signs are everywhere. Household financial expectations.
Bro, my wages didn't go up. Some people did, not everyone. Now inflation. If you're a full-time salaried employee at your company, technically your total compensation went up, even if you didn't recognize it. You want to know why? Unless your company changed insurance, which many companies have done, by the way, which is even worse overall. Yes, your total compensation went up because your company's not paying more for your health care. But you don't see that in your fucking pocket. That's the issue. Do you understand? So on paper, it looks like your total compensation went up. What do you mean? What the fuck? What are you talking about? What are people complaining about?
Have improved substantially since 2022. There's a reason Jerome Powell likes rational inattention. Expectations matter. Business inflation expectations have significantly decreased to 2.5%. The boom is in the vibes, and some hard data is good. Real wages, rising news sentiment, Taylor Swiftonomics. Driving the positive vibes for sure, and these vibes have real value, but we tend to ignore them. The Federal Reserve is more vibe policy than monetary policy. The sentiment drove the environment, and the data didn't really do that much. Even if there's so many things to improve, like student loan debt repayments starting back.
100% correct. Our bargain raise this year was 3%, but that was eaten up by the increase in our health costs and increase in pension contributions. That coupled with the rising cost of everything, we're basically gotten a pay cut. Exactly. Okay. Under the most reductive terms, this is a very simple way to understand the situation, okay? Let's say inflation is up by 8%. And you, that year, got a 3% increase. Okay? Got a 3% increase in your salary. You just got a 5% pay cut. Okay? Your salary decreased. Do you understand that? Now, to understand something even a little bit less reductive than that, and yet still reductive, is that your 3% increase in your total compensation overall, if a lot of it is going into your benefits, okay, then you got doubly fucked, because your take-home pay is maybe marginally higher, but everything else costs so much higher, and a lot of the at least your cost to the company is getting eaten up by your healthcare.
The government potentially shutting down again in September, and rising energy costs. If we can avoid a recession because the vibes are strong, what else can we do based on vibes alone?
But think about all the amazing benefits. Well, the irony is those benefits are not changing. They're not different than the year prior. They're the same. They're still dog shit. The problem is, it's just going up because it is an inelastic demand good. It's an inelastic demand service. You'll die without fucking healthcare, so you have to have it. So they can get away with being the middleman in the absence of any kind of regulatory body doing their fucking job. And get away with being the middleman that just keeps inflating your costs over and over and over again. Anyway, what is this one?
This is insane now, is it? Everything's crazy. I'm not talking about inflation. I understand inflation. I understand stuff gets more expensive over time. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about every product and every service just having the highest possible price so that company can make the most money. And there's just no concept of value anymore. There's no concept of whether the product is actually worth any of that massive price you're asking for. It's not supposed to work like this. It can't be that every product is expensive. Some products are better than others. It used to be, if you buy a really fancy sandwich, that's...
Yeah, benefits are worse. The employer share is going up. My premiums went from $300 a month to over $400 a month, but because of what you said, I was told I got a raise last year. Do you think that was a raise? No, that wasn't a fucking raise. You're like, the money remaining at the end of the day in your fucking pocket at the end of the month is dog shit. Is worse. That's it. Economics can be very complicated or very simple, depending on how you look at it. This is not anecdotal, by the way. I'm trying to help you assess and help you understand and put into words the anecdotes that you are experiencing and the anecdotes that you are seeing with actual data.
That sandwich is more expensive. Now every sandwich is expensive. Doesn't make any sense. I saw an Instagram ad earlier. It was for this like heated pillow. And I was like, oh, that's cute. Maybe I'll get that for my wife for Christmas. I looked it up. £100. £100 for the heated pillow. What are you on? That's not worth that. Like, who do you think you are? Are you not a bit embarrassed doing this? You know? And people will come along with the annoying economic argument they always make, which is like, well, things are worth what people are willing to pay for them. But that doesn't work when everything is expensive. Because you have to buy some things. No customer is voluntarily choosing or opting into these crazy prices. Just everything's at the max. But there's no concept of value. You know? Some of these products are...
Okay, this is not a great example as Megaphonics claimed it was going to be. Yeah, like the average Econ 101 Andy is going to say, yeah, your purchasing power is higher. That's what that means. Of course, no one is opting in to pay the highest amount of the highest dollar amount possible for goods. It's just that companies always, in the interest of the first part of what he said was correct, which is that companies always want to improve their profit margins. So yes, if people have more fucking disposable, or if people have more money to spend, then companies raise their prices, even though they don't have to. They don't have to. It's not because It's not because like even demand is eating up the supply or anything like that. It's just you can make more money by just simply raising the prices. Because now there's more people willing to pay. That's it.
Way over their skis.
This concept is called greedflation. People like to act as though... What is this? The grok shit? Okay, well, I'll look at it in a second. People think that inflation happens, or at least in our textbooks, it is taught that inflation will happen for a number of different reasons, but one of them is when the manufacturing price point goes up, whether because a commodity necessary for production and its value goes up or its price goes up due to scarcity or due to like externalities, right? Scarcity that is real scarcity. I say scarcity. Anyway, shut the fuck up. But the reality of the matter is that prices don't necessarily have to go up because people are buying more shit. Prices can simply just go up. Especially when we have a tremendous amount of corporate consolidation. So when you have a lot of corporate consolidation, there isn't any real competition in the marketplace, and the marketplace falls in line in every vector. This is a concept called price leadership. It is technically different than price fixing. Price fixing is when the three CEOs that own everything get together and smoke cigars in a shadowy deal, and they say, we're going to raise the prices for eggs, you see? That's illegal and wrong and very bad. Okay? That's called price fixing. But if there's an oligopoly, a couple different CEOs, a couple different corporations that own, I don't know, agricultural production or an entire sector, let's say, in food, maybe Oreos and cookies, right? And it's not done in a shadowy back room, but like Oreo increases his prices and engages in shrinkflation and then turns around and actually like lowers the amount of Oreos you get when you purchase it, right? And then the other competing brands see that and they also change their prices across the board. This can be done much easily when there's only 3 fucking brands that own all the cookies. That's called price leadership. One example of which you can see directly in your own real-time, real-world experiences within the oligopoly structure of airplanes and airliners. I'll give you an example of price leadership in that situation. One commercial airliner company decides to make you pay for your baggage. Okay? Saat 2'de. Evet. Evet. One company does that. Right? Then all the other companies follow suit. When they do that, that's called price leadership. That's how it works. It's not done in a shadowy deal in the same way that like the OPEC cartel works. OPEC Plus does this. They get together and they limit the supply of oil, knowing full well that it will increase the price. This, on the other hand, is perfectly valid, perfectly legal, and very easy to do when you have only 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 maximum companies, like major players in a marketplace that dominate the damn near entirety of said marketplace. iPhone removed the headphone jack. Everyone else did after. They even called it the courage to price lead. Yes. One form of collusion is explicitly illegal, but price leadership, on the other hand, is not illegal. Never forget, price leadership is not price fixing. Don't ever say that. However, that is what greedflation is. That is what it's caused by. We had a lot of supply chain issues in the United States of America where a lot of people lost the opportunity to spend their money on shit like gas, for example, because they didn't really go anywhere, and they had more disposable income as a consequence of like a lot of the welfare state happening to kick in, because America is the consumer engine of the world. So we had to give money to Americans to sit at home, and the more you sat at home, the more money you had because you were spending less. You were spending on less shit. In that time frame, even after the supply chain issues were fixed, car manufacturers, or not car manufacturers, but like auto dealerships, for example, learned a very valuable lesson. People have more money to buy cars. People have more money to buy cars, and it doesn't even matter if there are less cars, because now we have less inventory, but we can make more money with less inventory by simply raising the prices. They didn't do this, especially in 2022, for example, where the auto dealership industry made gangbusters with their profits. They didn't do that because they had to, because something was more expensive in the manufacturing process or anything. Their markups existed. They didn't actually refresh their inventories or fill their inventories because it didn't matter. People were willing to pay.
You are not worth that meal deal. Get in your lane. This isn't the diamond business. But everything you buy, it's just like, oh yeah, that's just £40. And it's not even good. And I don't know how it ends. Surely this is a short-term way to operate. We cannot be in a situation where everyone is profiteering now.
You should clarify to chatters that price leadership works because for a certain sector, a single firm has the majority of the market share, e.g. Nestle, Coca-Cola Corporation, so smaller firms wouldn't get a windfall from keeping their prices low as they cannot ramp up production. They are directly incentivized to raise their prices along with the leader. This works with no communication between the firms. Yes. And the more corporate consolidation occurs, the more the top industry leaders actually literally do that. They don't even compete with one another. They just follow suit. They follow the leader. Whoever has the courage to engage in shrinkflation. Here, I'll give you another example. A lot of people think like the economy operates with these like super reasonable goddamn boundaries. Okay? Why the fuck did everybody gut the tech sector? Why did so many tech companies, regardless of the fake money that they were getting, did they gut the tech sector because of the interest rates going up? That certainly had an impact on the tech sector. But the major reason why so many layoffs occurred was because they were just following other companies that were laying off. So the expectation from their shareholders was make these guys lay off people, find people to lay off immediately. It's kind of funny. Obviously, Meta had good reason to, I guess, lay off certain parts of their company. But plenty of places didn't. Twitter is another good reason. Twitter is another company that like didn't need to lay off their fucking gut their entire workplace and work the H-1B visa recipients to the goddamn core and put the website on its on a skeleton. They did not do this due to rational acts. These are not rational actors. They are on the whims of whoever the fuck is engaging rational. They're not rational actors. These are not rational whims. They're operating on radical principles. What are you talking about? They absolutely needed to lay off their employees. Lamont, all the advertisers pulled out. What are you talking about? Advertisers pulled out after. Elon Musk came in and the first thing he did was literally rip the moderation cord off. Take Twitter off of its wheels. What the fuck are you talking about? That came before advertisers went away. Anyway, ultimately, this is not like a rational situation. This is a Noam Chomsky bit, but like if we had a supply and demand structure and we had such a principle as the rational actor, okay? Because the supply demand only works if, all parties are rational in their decisions, okay? Then there would be no need for a multi-billion-dollar industry that does public relations and marketing. The entire purpose behind public relations and marketing is to ensure that you do not make rational decisions. That's how it works.
Woman Liz Cheney is calling him a threat to American democracy.
Tech sector shrunk last year, 300,000 employees fired. Yes. And a lot of those companies that fired their employees didn't actually have to fire their employees and simply fucking followed suit because either A, their shareholders were demanding a reduction in the size of the labor force, or B, they just did it because everyone else was doing it. It sounds really stupid when you look at it, but there are plenty of companies who did not have to do that at all. And they did it because everyone else was doing it. You need to understand that. Now, of course, you could say, well, this is really stupid. Like, what do you mean? The companies are still, they're still operating. They're still working. And it's like, yeah, because a lot of those jobs are bullshit to begin with, okay? It's just the truth. Most jobs are bullshit jobs. You have to look at the impact that it has on the economy overall to have those jobs versus to not have those jobs.
Who must be stopped.
There's a lot that has to be done to begin to rebuild the Republican Party, potentially to build a new conservative party. But in my view, that has to wait until after the 2024 election because our focus has got to be on defeating Donald Trump.
President Biden has also seized on Trump's comments for his campaign, telling a group of supporters over the weekend, quote, the greatest threat Trump poses is to the country's democracy.
And John, in the face of all this, Donald Trump continues to be strong in the polls.
He does. There's a Wall Street Journal poll that just came out that had him with a 4-point lead over Joe Biden. That's within the poll's margin of error. But Nikki Haley in that same poll had a 17-point lead over Joe Biden. But George, also this morning, a poll in Iowa, Donald Trump over 50% winning in that crucial first primary caucus state.
Not even close. John Carl, thanks very much.
Hi, everyone.
Well, as for the presidential race, a new poll is out this morning from the Des Moines Register, NBC News, and Mediacom, and it is shedding light on the Iowa caucus.
Funny angle on your job is that you're a repurposed town yeller. I wouldn't say that, and this is not to say that like my work is meaningful or anything like that, but no, there's a difference. I've worked a bullshit job. I think that I wouldn't factor what I'm doing to be a bullshit job because I get paid off of like how many hours I put in at the end of the day. It's very different than what I mean with a bullshit job. Like, for example, someone who works in an Amazon distribution facility is engaging in, of course, backbreaking labor, very different than what I'm doing. My job is cushy as fuck, right? There's no way to like cheat that system, or without that person needs to be replaced by another person who will do that. But a lot of white collar office work, unironically, is, 2 to 3 hours of like real work every day that you get paid 8 hours for. And many of the stuff that you're doing, you could basically offset into, depending on how much security or insecurity the labor force has, the remaining white collar workers have, could be offset to the rest of the white collar labor force. That's why a lot of these companies can very easily fucking rip through with their layoffs through a shit ton of their workforce and not really suffer a tremendous, not really suffer the worst consequences and like completely collapse their business. Okay? And then slowly start the rehiring process and take the benefits of reducing that labor force in a practice called the elimination of redundancy. If 8 people are doing work, if 8 people are doing work and then they fucking fire half of the people and then the remaining 4 people are scared shitless and have much more insecurity because they just saw 4 of their coworkers, like they saw half the labor force get ripped. All of a sudden, now they have more workload. All of a sudden, they have more workload because they're taking on the fucking remaining work that was given to them. They're going to be way more willing to do that work. But yeah, this is the bullshit job term is actually from David Graeber, yes. Many of you are currently doing a bullshit job at your company right now while watching me. And that's fair. You should do that. Fuck them. They're literally they are underpaying you for what your ass on that seat means to them by design. Okay? Even if you fucking sit there on Twitch all day, when you crunch a couple goddamn numbers at the end of the day, okay, that 2 hour of work that you're doing where you get compensated for 8 hours is still beneficial to the company. That's called profits. Technological improvements have rendered it so. Okay?
The first contest in the nation, which is now just 5 weeks away. NBC's national political correspondent Steve Kornacki's here to break it down. Good morning. Okay, so 5 weeks to go. What does this Iowa poll show?
Yeah, let's take a look. And again, we do this with the Des Moines Register. They are known for having the most accurate poll in Iowa, and they find Donald Trump just over a month to go with an outright majority on the Republican side, 51% support for the former president. Very distant second, DeSantis. Haley at
That's crazy that Haley is so close to Ron DeSantis. That's sad as fuck. What a sad state of affairs for little Rhonda.
16%. And I think if it's discouraging to see this for DeSantis and for Haley, what may be even more discouraging is the trend, because we last polled Iowa in October.
Are they going to try and pull a fucking Barack Obama gives a phone call to just get every single one of these guys to lend support to whoever they consider as the top contender here? They can't even get that across because, like, now you got Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis neck and neck.
Trump is up 8 points since that last poll. DeSantis only 3. And you think about the month DeSantis has had in Iowa, he got the governor's endorsement. He got a key.
Yeah, this is the best. This is so funny that like just look at this fucking graph, dude. Look at the goddamn national polls of the Republican primaries, dude. It's just so fucking bad. And this is where people go, oh shit, Haley's actually better on camera than Ron DeSantis is. Okay? Like, this shows devastating failure for Ron DeSantis, the promised new leader of the Republican Party. Okay? Every moment that he has been on camera has slowly withered away his support. The exact inverse of what happened to Donald Trump. Donald Trump, not as prominent, not as on camera as much. Donald Trump starts doing his fucking rallies. Boom. Slow but sure increase in support for Donald motherfucking Trump. Ron DeSantis, every time he appears in public, people are like, oh, gross, stop. What the fuck? What the fuck? Oh, God, stop. What is happening? So much so that they got a woman. They got a woman as his replacement. Like the Republican Party's like reasonable voting bloc, the moderates that want to preserve the institutional Republican Party, are literally going, yeah, you know what? Maybe a woman is better. An Indian woman, mind you. Of course, unlike Ramaswamy, she doesn't present as an Indian woman for sure. She is, you know, most people probably assume that she is a white woman, but still a woman nonetheless. Think about that. Think about that. This is Ramaswamy bump erasure? Okay, Ramaswamy's bump is fucking bullshit. Anyway.
Evangelical endorsement.
There have been debates.
He was in the debate. He had the debate with Gavin Newsom on Fox, and it has not turned into measurable momentum for him in this race.
Well, let's talk about Nikki Haley, because in other states we've seen momentum. Here she seems flat. What do you see?
Yeah, she moved up here in our last poll, and you could see no gain since. The problem for Haley is basically this. You're looking at how independents are breaking in Iowa. Now, independents are a relatively small part of the Iowa caucus electorate, but you can see Haley does much better with the independents. Trump, for that matter, does much worse with the independents than with overall Republican voters. And the story with Haley in Iowa polling and elsewhere, she does her best with non-Republicans, with independents, with Democrats who get to vote in a primary somewhere, and with Republicans who don't like Donald Trump. But together, that is far, far from a majority of the Republican Party.
Seems like she's hoping for New Hampshire and then some momentum in her home state of South Carolina. Well, I mean, it's 5 weeks to go. There can be late deciders. How calcified are people's opinions here?
Yeah, we always have to leave over that possibility that there could be a late surge for somebody. But I do think this is worth noting. Is your mind made up? And look at this, 70%, 7 out of 10 Trump supporters say, that's it, mind's made up, they're locked in. Look at DeSantis, look at Haley, they're locked in vote, not even half of what Trump's is. Huge enthusiasm gap there.
All right, Steve Kornacki with the latest poll. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching. Don't miss the Today Show every weekday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific on our streaming channel, Today All Day. To watch, head to today.com/allday or click the link right here.
When you buy a home in the U.S., there is a basic promise that home values will go up over time. And that is what you're seeing on this chart. Let's adjust it for inflation. Okay, jerkier, but still basically goes up.
Sorry. I had to get my food real quick. I know it blew out your fucking eardrums. It blew out your eardrums back out. Let's take a look at Box.com. Why buying a house in the U.S. is so hard right now.
The story goes like this. Money by itself loses value over time. That's inflation. But if you own your home in the U.S., you own an asset that is appreciating in value. Buying it probably required you to save a bunch of money and also borrow a lot of money, which you need to pay back over time, as opposed to renting your home, which basically just requires rent. But now you own it. It could be collateral if you ever need money, like to start a business or to send your kids to college. One day you might sell it for more than you bought it, but also stability, peace of mind.
So that you may maintain your place in society.
You get it. If we look at the middle 60% of the U.S. population in terms of wealth, the middle class, the bulk of the wealth held by that group is made up of the homes they live in. It's a big part of why we think of homeownership as the ticket.
Bro, this is literally this is verbatim, bar for bar, what I say all the goddamn time. Top of the hour, there's a big ass ad break. It's 3 minutes long. Middle of the hour, there's a 1 minute ad break. Bar for bar, dude. If you no longer want to see those fucking ads, all you need to do is subscribe. I say this all the goddamn time, you know? All the goddamn time. That's just how it works. You can also get gifted a sub if you're lucky. Here's a 3 minute ad break now. Okay, no, bar for bar, this is what I'm saying, which is what I've said time and time again, which is a big part of the reason why housing market issues cannot get realistically solved under democratic organization is due to this reality that Americans, it's not just like, you know, fucking BlackRock or whatever, purchasing up all the houses or whatever. It's because Americans associate their wealth, understandably, with their housing prices. And there's a shit ton of homeowners, small homeowners, who literally are just so deeply fucking tied to their home prices constantly going up, because that's their only metric of like wealth. The value of their property goes up. The amount of money they can take out against that property goes up. One day they could sell it, you know. That's how this works.
Get to financial stability in the U.S., to securing and then building your own wealth. But the barriers to buying a home in the U.S. are getting higher. So how much higher exactly? And if you can't buy a home, what does that mean for your future?
This guy said $400,000 for a home is fucking insane. This guy's response is, you talking to a man in like a $3 million home? No, you're talking to a man in a $400,000 home that paid $3 million for his $400,000 home because of exactly the same housing market considerations that occurred that made it impossible to fucking afford for the average Joe. Okay? That's it. The house that I'm inside of is not a fucking $3 million chateau. The only thing that makes it that way is because I'm in Los Angeles, the heart of Los Angeles, in West Hollywood specifically. And it's virtually impossible to get a reasonable house because housing is not determined by like the actual size of it or the amount of labor that went into it or the commodities used to make the house. It is determined by the scarcity of land.
So first, let's go back to the median U.S. housing price over the past 50 years, up to 2022. And now add income onto it. Yeah.
Median wages have not kept pace with the increase in the cost of housing.
This is Michelle Dickerson. She studies
why it's become so hard for lower income and middle income people to become and remain middle class now.
Let's go back about 50 years and look at a couple whose household income is exactly the national U.S. median at that time. In 1972 money, about $10,000. Imagine, right? They want to buy a house. The median U.S. home price at that time was about $29,000. That is about 3 times their income.
Before the 1980s, it was possible for a young person to graduate from high school, find a job that was a full-time, 40-hour-a-week job with benefits that paid them.
That would mean the housing in Los Angeles would mean 100,000, or if that 100,000 is like what you need to make to survive in LA, $300,000. Can you imagine?
Enough for them to be able to buy a home.
Now let's go 50 years forward and run those numbers for 2022. Median income, median home price. This house is more than 6 times this household's income. So that is what we're looking at
Yeah, do that for fucking, do that not for the entire country. Do that for highly dense urban area and let those numbers blow your fucking mind, dog. Remember, this is for the entirety of the United States of America, dog. That's like, you're factoring in places like Arkansas at that point, which is fucking devastating, by the way. It's fucking insane. Okay? It's insane that, like, even in a place like bumfuck nowhere, Arkansas and shit, this is like, prices are going up. West Virginia, like, psychotic places.
When we go back to that chart of income and housing prices, again, adjusted for inflation, and compare this gap to this gap. Now, as for the home prices themselves, let's zoom in to make that data easier to see, bring it up to date. You can see that the prices are starting to go down a little bit in 2023, but part of why they got so high in the first place is a lack of supply. This chart shows what's called the homeowner vacancy rate over about 70 years. It's the percent of homes in the US that are actually for sale, and it's currently the lowest since we started collecting data. And that is partly the result of restrictive zoning laws, locally set rules all across the US that regulate things like where homes can and can't be built, how many units a building can have in it, and how densely housing can be built. It leads to fewer homes getting built, which
it's definitely not the only reason, or the biggest reason even. It's also what kind of housing you're building. They already mentioned what the problem is. Like, one of the major issues is homes are seen as an investment vehicle. The only investment vehicle that has stability. Zoning laws are definitely a part of the problem. Except there are places where you see zoning laws get gutted, which I'm in favor of gutting, for the record. And yet, you don't actually see the housing prices go down. Why is that the case? Because the type of housing that's being built is not necessarily, Hassan is in favor of deregulation. Yeah, I've said that before. I am. Yes, there are certain aspects of deregulation that is good. Like, for example, not being allowed to build buildings. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you out of your fucking mind? Yeah. Zoning laws are dog shit when it comes to densely packed urban fucking areas. What are you talking about? It's ridiculous. But it should also maybe cause you a little bit of cynicism when you see your favorite, like, orange-pilled urban, your armchair urbanist account that you follow from the Netherlands, advocating for the same position as, like, fucking Larry Elder. Okay? I'm not even shitting on Not Just Bikes. Not Just Bikes, I don't know what his perspective is. There are a lot of people like that. I like Not Just Bikes. I'm not even fucking attacking him at all. If you make more housing, but the housing that you're making is high, it is like luxury condominiums that are not adjusted to, like, the average price point of the area and what they can afford, with the goal of, like, inevitably gentrifying the neighborhood and having more people show up at the neighborhood and making, like, a long-term plan of being able to maybe at some point fill it up, you're not fixing the problem in the short term. You're positioning yourself, especially when there are plenty of tax benefits that come as a consequence of like not being building and then not being able to fill your entire inventory that you've created. You're not building to solve a problem. And in some instances, your building might even cause more problems than it's set out to solve. You're wrong here. Regulation is good. The problem is who and what the regulations favor. With no regulations, developers will build in favor of maximum profit. Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. No, that's precisely my point. No, of course I'm a big fan of fucking regulations. I'm simply talking about like the silly, like some of the zoning regulations are silly as fuck and is there simply to preserve the housing market, like the existing housing market, and the profit margins in the existing housing market. Okay? All that NIMBY shit sucks. Like whenever you're building affordable housing, for example, or you're building like a homeless shelter or something, and people go, oh, no way, we're not letting that happen. Another thing that has to be, and the reason why I don't shit on not just bikes, by the way, is this reason. Another thing that has to be solved is public transit. You know what I mean? You can't fucking simply go, all right, no more parking structures inside of buildings as a consequence of zoning regulations, and then not have adequate public transit. The fuck are people going to do? Walk to work? There's no sidewalks. So this is not a simple fix. There is no simple fix.
Leads to fewer homes to buy. As for the homes that are
Average house income for people in California for 2023 is $103,000. Median house cost in California in the LA metropolitan area is $756,000.
are for sale,
So it's
that's what we're looking
7x.
at here. This chart splits all homes on the market in the U.S. into tiers by price. So these are the lower cost homes and these are the higher cost homes, and it tracks over time what percentage of the market each tier represents. You can see that over the past few years, homes that cost less than $200,000 have made up less and less of what's available, and homes above $500,000 or even $1 million are representing a greater and greater share of what's for sale. So housing in the U.S. is scarce and it's expensive, but we're actually missing a really important piece of the story here. We'll talk about that after this quick message.
Student loans can really make you sweat. Only 1 in 3 students understand the financial terms of their loans, and nearly half of them interest rates rate payments with a new.
Are you fucking kidding me? They put an ad in there? They put an ad in a 9-minute Vox video that literally hides itself as though it is not an ad at all, but it is actually. It's not an ad at all. It's simply more of an explainer. That's crazy.
Secret.com/moneymoves.
Okay, let's revisit the two parts of a home purchase. First, you pay some percentage of the cost of the home up front, maybe 5%, maybe 20%, the down payment. The rest of the money you will need to borrow. This is the mortgage. You'll pay that back in monthly payments. But the size of those payments can vary a lot depending on the interest rate of the loan. This chart shows the average interest rate of a common type of mortgage over the past 50 years. In the long term, it's mostly been going down. A lower mortgage interest rate means lower monthly payments. So, while this chart of housing prices told a story of it getting harder to buy a house over time, the interest rate chart seems to tell a different story of very high and burdensome interest rates at one point and mostly lower and lower interest rates over time. So now the story is slightly more complicated. And if we look at them on the same timeline, they seem to kind of go in opposite directions until.
Yeah, bro, that's literally just the exact same thing that we just talked about with why everything under a capitalist structure is dog shit. Year over year over year. Motherfuckers are like, no regulation or no no improvements on the housing crisis because it's impossible. It's impossible to fix it. Why did these lines meet in 2008? Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Does anyone know what happened there?
They don't. Let's just look at the recent
not
past.
2008.
In 2020, a pandemic was happening and lots of people suddenly wanted to move and home prices started to shoot up. In 2022, as the US government tried to slow down inflation, interest rates began to shoot up. And now they're both still pretty high. Not only that, because a lot of current homeowners have mortgage interest rates down in this range, the 3, 4, 5% zone, it means that since selling their home might mean having to buy a new one at an interest rate up here.
Chat, I'm not gonna lie, that's me right there. Like literally right there. You know, August of 2021. That shit is right me. That shit is me for real, dog. What is happening? What's happening, Mom? Oh my God, okay.
Fewer people are selling their homes. It helps keep that homeowner vacancy rate low, and it keeps home prices high. And by the way, all of these barriers to home buying are exacerbated for people of color who are more likely to be denied mortgage loans, regardless of income. The website Zillow looks at several of the factors we've talked about, including home prices, income, mortgage rates, and it calculates the monthly burden on the average new homeowner. According to them, that burden is close to the highest on record. There are lots more factors at play here, but overall, especially if you're a young person in the US, it is natural to feel discouraged by the housing market. And the question then becomes, can you still somehow have this without this? Can you find some kind of financial stability even if you continue to rent where you live? Well, let's start with the obvious. This is not even always going up. Just for one example, this is the 2008 housing crisis, which was a disaster for home values. Now, they've obviously gone way back up, but we can look at other kinds of investment over that time period too. Here's a common stock market index. It also went down and then up. Now, that is an
Dog, come on. You can't just like show this graph, and they go, come on. It's not so bad. Sometimes there's economic collapse. There's no way he's going to turn around and be like, you should just buy stocks, right? Like, there's no fucking way.
Start with the obvious. This is not even always going up. Just for one example, this is the 2008 housing crisis, which was a disaster for home values.
Which is a dip, by the way, but like.
Now, they've obviously gone way back up, but we can look at other kinds of investment over that time period too. Here's a common stock market index. It also went down and then up. Now, that is an extremely imprecise comparison between two very different ways to invest, but you could also chart several kinds of investments this way, and they would all go up sometimes, down sometimes, hopefully up in the long term. But in the short term, you do not ever know what is coming next. A home is a pretty unique kind of purchase. It's a necessity that you buy at great cost. But if you look at it as a long-term investment, it's not actually that special.
If you want the stable investment, you go out and invest in a nice, government bond mutual fund. You don't have to worry about that. It is most likely, going to go up. And if it doesn't go up this month, over time it will.
One thing charts like this show is that the conditions for buying a home change. Recently, they've been kind of bad. They might not always be. But if you're looking for long-term investments to grow your wealth, even if you rent your home, a house is not your only option.
This is the worst video I've ever seen in my entire life. What the fuck is going on? I thought I said it as a joke. Dog, he literally looked at a ginormous problem caused by the fact that we see homes as an investment vehicle. Openly admitted that it's like shelter, but it's also an investment. Like, okay, but if you don't have that shelter, then the investment part doesn't matter. If it's unaffordable, then you don't have the shelter. What are you saying? And then they go, just, hey, you know, at the end of the day, just think about it like it's an investment. And, you know, maybe you can't make this big ticket investment, but you can make other investments. It's like, dude, this is not about investments. Buying government bonds doesn't put a fucking roof over your head. What are you saying? I can't wait to fucking, I can't wait to purchase money, mutual funds, okay, which is going to inevitably, what, turn into a roof over my head? How does that work? That is, of course, if you even have the money. Many people don't, because of, ironically, the problem that he just presented. The problem he presented is literally why people don't even have money. Because housing prices are going up and rents are skyrocketing. Oh my God. If you cannot afford a house, you have to pay someone else's mortgage. How the fuck are you going to buy government bonds? That's exactly the point. Yeah, just rent law so you can pay someone else's mortgage. And then some. Like, I'll give you an example. All right. Let's say a house costs $4 million, $5 million. Okay, not my house. Let's say the mortgage on that, if you got like a low interest rate, and depending on what your down payment is, let's say the mortgage on that is fucking $15,000, $20,000, right? That's a monthly payment. That's a big ass fucking payment. A $5 million house. Do you know how much the rent is in that marketplace? If your fucking payment is $20,000 a month on your mortgage, that monthly rent is 40 grand in the market. 40 minimum. At least double. Why is that the case? Because you're not just fucking paying someone's mortgage. You're paying for their mortgage plus their other consumption. What the fuck is 40 grand rent? Yeah, the property that I'm hypothetically bringing up is a $5 million property. Chose the worst example? How is it the worst example? Okay, you fucking have an apartment. The numbers are lower. Your mortgage payments are lower, but the rent is still going to be double the amount of your fucking mortgage payments that you're paying. Yeah, property taxes, etc., homeowners fees, etc., all of that factors in to rent. Rent is still double the amount after all of that shit. Maybe not double. That's not especially true in big markets. Rents are much lower than mortgage payments. That's a fucking absolute copium-inducing mentality that people have. That's not true. That's not true at all. Why do people say that? That's literally not true. Yeah, dude. Landlords are actually fucking doing this out of the goodness of their heart. That's why rent is actually significantly, the mom and pop landlord actually gives you a home for free. Basically. The house I rented in LA was $4,500 a month, but it was a $1.8 million house. No way my mortgage would be below $4,500. It all depends. It all depends on when they bought it. Their mortgage payments are either paid off or their mortgage payments are significantly lower than you think because they bought it at a fucking time when it was much cheaper. Yeah, motherfuckers buy their houses 30 years ago, then they rent it out, and you're like, well, it's all paid off. So that's just free money at that point. The tax on newly purchased property will have a higher mileage than a property bought 10 years ago. That too, of course. Bro, I'm telling you, that's why I give you the fucking $5 million house example. Even in my own circumstance, I pay significantly less in my mortgage than I would in rent. Obviously, I put a shit ton in the down payment, but I pay an unimaginably lower amount as opposed to if I wanted to rent this house in the regular market pricing. Y'all are crazy. So you're comparing current rent rates to historical home prices? Not really a fair comparison. Should compare rent payment to what the mortgage would be now. I mean, people are sitting on their fucking properties. So I don't know why we're doing that in general. You buy your house 30, 40 fucking years ago, you pay it off fully. Even if you look, yeah, some of those places are not going to be adjusted to the mortgage, yes. But if you are going out right now and buying an apartment, your mortgage payment, as long as you have enough capital, upfront capital to put a down payment, your mortgage payment absolutely, which is a tremendous amount of money. You could just turn around and say, well, you put a down payment. The fuck do you mean? It's not the same. Most people just don't have enough capital for down payments. And that's why they're in a permanent renter structure. But if mortgage prices in general, if mortgage prices actually were more expensive than rent, then landlords would not do landlording. The fuck are you talking about? Then it wouldn't be a way to generate passive income. What are we talking about? Where's the fucking incentive to own houses then? Like, do people unironically think landlords are losing money? Like, what's happening? What? Listen, motherfucker, I understand your point. Before paying 40 grand in rent is absolutely branded behavior. I'm using big ass numbers, but it's the same for little ass numbers as well. They are in the short term, yes. They have deep pockets and are banking on appreciation. Yeah, that's the other part. Even if some landlords, depending on how many properties they have, depending on what their properties look like, can bank on appreciation for sure. Okay, maybe they even have more favorable loans ultimately. But the looking at the housing market and how it is increased year over year, the home values have increased year over year as the government has a genuine interest in keeping that price increase as stable as possible, because the inverse of that spells doom for the average fucking home-owning voter that votes both for the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, because that is their number one vehicle for intergenerational wealth. That is their singular most important investment, because homes are not seen simply as shelter, but an investment vehicle in this country and in many other capitalist countries as well, because that's how private property works. With all of that considered, yes, you can still take out more money, for example. You can take out more, you can refinance your loan, you can take out more money against the capital that you have, and you can still make this a profitable endeavor, even if your mortgage prices overall for a particular apartment and the rent is damn near identical. The difference between you and a fucking landlord or you and a homeowner is that they simply had the upfront capital. Whether it was a consequence of intergenerational wealth or savvy financial decisions, that part does not matter. What matters is they had the first upfront capital. They could drop it. So then the rest of the time, they could just pay the mortgage, which, paired up with property taxes, is absolutely still going to be cheaper than paying the rent. Renting remains cheaper than buying in Austin, LA, etc. Share of properties where it's cheaper to rent than own. 95% of the properties is cheaper to rent than to own. That's well above the national 81%, just slightly above the national. Wait, what the fuck? Home sales nationally declined 22% year over year in April. The average sales of the price of Metro fell, but mortgage rates have nearly doubled. Yeah, because I think you're looking at. Wait, is this because of interest rates? Is that what it is? So in the short term, have you ever been a landlord? You wouldn't understand the sacrifices landlords have to house people. Bought a 3-bedroom house in 2019. I'm paying less than 1-bedroom apartment. Here it's usually $1,700 for just 1 bedroom. Yeah, the reason for why, if you look at this snapshot now, the reason for why it is more expensive to own a home rather than rent a home, which doesn't factor in the reality that you could take out mortgages now when you have when you have a property. It doesn't factor in the fact that the property value is appreciating and therefore your net worth is appreciating, which you don't have when you actually are just renting a house. In the long term, renting is always going to be infinitely more expensive than ownership. I feel like it's an abject lie. At current market rates, it is financially better to rent in many places because rent is not caught up with the higher mortgage rates yet. Makes more sense to invest your down payment than to buy a property. Well, I mean, don't worry, Cliff. Wow, nobody's fucking buying anything, and everyone has to rent regardless. It's not up to the savvy consumer to make this decision. Decision has been made for them due to their dire economic circumstances to begin with. Rent and invest is funny because, you know, we're talking about a bunch of people that don't even have an opportunity to invest or stuck in a permanent renter market. Right now, if you look at mortgages on Zillow for like your apartment, it might be that your mortgage is more expensive. Then you have the property tax as well.
The ref's job. Let's try to stay inside. Now the ref, he's relaxed here, you know.
I can see myself and I don't need to hide. A foolish bride paid the price.
Catches.
How is Miskiv throwing it?
I will never leave again. I'm by your side. I was calling you. Did you hear me? I lost my way.
Got his ass.
Lost my way.
That's it. That's a hit. Bro, Ludwig was cheating. What the fuck? That was literally a hit. You're all upper body with your throw. Yeah, we had Vivek on our team.
I was trapped in 1,000 nights with no escape. Nightmares taking me over, and now I'm wide awake. Oh, I died like 1,000,000 times, but the waves I break. The nightmare's finally over, and now I'm wide awake. And now I'm wide awake.
God damn it. I hate that. The exact throw on the one on Ludwig I had to watch several times. I think it's a hit, but it didn't count because the judges didn't. For making educated guesses, I had you for 83 throws and 49 dodges based off where you were on camera right before and after some balls you were throwing off camera.
But you got to take what they give you. Now, when Hassan throws a ball, those are the ones you got to catch it. Shaikuno misses it.
Yeah, we did this a lot. We did that a lot. Oh, that's where you guys caught that. How the fuck? How did you catch that? That was like 1 second. Look at the athleticism. Look at the recovery. I put myself in a pretzel and immediately got up. It's 245 pounds. You motherfuckers have no clue. You don't understand. How's the shoulder? It's fine. I mean, my shoulder was my rotator cuff was hurting before we played dodgeball. I didn't use my left shoulder. I can tell you've never thrown a baseball before. I've never thrown a baseball in my life. I was trying my best. I've never thrown a baseball in my life. I've fucking played dodgeball one time for funsies. But also, these balls are like, I have enough pure strength to be able to throw a baseball fast, even if I don't have the best technique, because they're heavy. These are not heavy balls. They're sponge balls. And I'm gassed as fuck by the end of this. At this point, I'm like, yeah, you have to use your hips.
I've seen men empty whole clips of dodgeball and not do it.
I'm no pitching coach, but I think you drag your trailing leg, which removes momentum from the throw. You still do great, though. Balls are so light and filled with the foam. They are actually harder to throw. Used to work at a trampoline park. Yeah. Look at that. Look at that, bro. Come on. That's a big boy. That's a big boy. Look at how much of a big boy this is. I put some respect on this big boy. Look at this. I'm a big ass boy. I'm fucking running up, grabbing a ball before Michael Reeves, hitting the red line, and immediately fucking trying to chuck one. I'm just saying. Big boy's getting checked out in dodgeball. Not a valid target. Valid target. Okay, dude. Fuck you. That's such a. This is like. That is an excellent basketball throw. That would be a perfectly fine, like, weird pass to make with a basketball. Just the absolute most dog shit dodgeball throw with those sponge balls. Just that, like I throw that as a pass, like a quick pass, down the court, that's perfectly fine. I throw those little weird sponge balls. It literally, look at that. Look at the ball. It like literally, it just goes, bam. Buy a ball and learn how to throw, man. I should. Oh, those are my fake outs. Oh, they were so bad. I would always go after, like, I would look like I was throwing it there, and then I would try to fucking target him, and then I was just so bad. While I was picking up dishonorable.
Hassan throwing it like it's to his little sister. Disrespect.
What the fuck is this music? I love that they were not even targeting Emily or Squeaks. Like, they were just like, yeah, whatever. Like,
That's what you do. Balls.
I am rectangular. Feel it in my bones. I am rectangular. Feel no hole. I am rectangular. That was an out. And you are a circle. I am rectangular. Feel no hole. I am rectangular. And you are a circle. I am rectangular. Lost, so I am rectangular. The world is a circle. I am rectangular. That was a bullshit out. The fuck? What is rectangular? Lost, so I am rectangular. Did they even touch me? Yeah, some people throw it kind of underhanded. It lets you put a spin on the ball that makes it hard to catch while keeping it trajectory level. No, I don't. Oh, this guy is. Yeah, he just puts a spin on it. How do you? I don't know how to throw like that. Why are you playing a wrong game? I have no idea how the fuck to throw like that.
To make something happen, though, they don't have the opportunity to sit and wait.
Make sure Emily just did a jumping jack. Not sure what that was about.
She's gonna get hit in the damn head. Kick, you guys got the balls. You gotta throw them at some point. Okay, whoop.
Look at the elbow. I'm learning so much about the old man Twitch guy was throwing with more power than you, man. Come on. You should practice / prepare for events like this. Nah.
Alright, Emily gives up a throw. In the game.
When am I gonna fucking play when am I ever gonna play baseball or dodgeball again? Power isn't the key, it's the spin of the ball. Spinning it as a throw stabilizes it. I don't know how to throw a ball. I was just doing pure power. I was trying to fucking lob it, which I might have had a better shot throwing it like a pong ball at beer pong. Fucking it was a fun event. Fucking try hard nerd chatter. Yeah, Twitch CEO is pretty fit. To throw his spin and power, it's in the wrist. You were letting go too low, probably because you were gripping too hard. Kind of got to let it slip out with the spin. I don't know why people are backseating. Oh, so you get one game further before being decimated by Will Neff. Big whoop. Will and Caroline combo are wild. Yeah, they were very good. Good spin leads to curve balls. Those are insane to catch and avoid. Watch out, Sapnap throws. Yeah, Sapnap threw a lot of as soon as we got to the courts and I saw Sapnap throw one fast one, I was like, oh shit, he's got a fucking heater. He's definitely played baseball before, at least like for funsies, you know what I mean? He knew how to throw baseball. I do not. I didn't also realize it was so much more complicated. What player were you most impressed by? I think probably Michael Reeves, because I was not expecting him to be that good. But I guess Sapnap probably. Sapnap was the best. Sapnap probably was the best player in the entire tournament. Michael Reeves had incredible moments. Like in our battle against YouTube, Michael Reeves literally single-handedly won that bout. When he turned it around with that insane catch, that is when we lost. We could have defeated YouTube. We were defeating YouTube, and then we lost. Hassan isn't surprised by Caroline because he knew she was that good. Yeah, no, Caroline I know is very athletic, and so is Will. That's why, like, to me, Will and Caroline's performance is not like unique because I know their skill. I mean, you guys forget I play sports with Will all the time. Caroline was definitely more athletic than I expected her to be with her dodges, but Caroline had good agility and decent technique. Her throws are deceptively hard to catch. Most disappointing was Myth. I think Myth was just fucking around too much. Like, I think he just loves dodging, and he just wanted to get, like, funny, clippable dodges. Will Net playing in that tournament was not fair? No, dude, you're wrong. I think Will could absolutely play in that tournament. You guys are greatly overemphasizing. You're making it seem like it was above and beyond. His team, he's very good, but Will's team also was literally Will's team also was way more balanced. Like when you have a team where like every single person can throw, like Caroline was the worst thrower and she was still very good, you know what I mean? At that point it's just like you don't need to use that much of your power. You can be like reasonably on par. As someone who wasn't Will never D1 tight end? No, he wasn't. Will is a profoundly athletic person. He is an incredibly athletic person. Like, it's crazy. Kick team had chemistry aiming at the same target and the like? No. We did that too. That doesn't matter, dude. I don't know why you guys don't understand. They just had people that were better at throwing and also more athletic overall. Instead of like having players that were easy targets, instead of having a couple players that were easy targets, which would literally require everyone to just hyper focus on the one guy that can throw or two guys that can throw or three guys that can throw. Yeah, every single person on their team could throw, which makes it way more different than any other game. Like in basketball, not every single person has to be an incredible shooter. Some people are going to be good at shooting out of in a 5-on-5 situation. Some people can shoot, some people can drive, some people are power forwards, some people are centers, and some people simply drive up the ball. But in dodgeball, in a 5-on-5 situation, it's like there is no deviation of responsibility. Everyone needs to at least like be able to throw competitively and be able to dodge competitively. So if you don't have people that can throw, for example, then you don't have to focus on them. You never have to focus on them at all. You can just wait until they're at the end. So all of the balls are directed in the vicinity of people that can throw the ball first, so you can eliminate them, and then move on to easier targets. Yeah. It wasn't balanced. Kick team was super strong, like you said. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like the reason why, when you have a better deviation of, like when you have everyone that can throw, then your arm is going to rest more throughout the entire event. You have to dodge less because you're not being targeted as much, because all 5 of the people that are still, all 5 of the other people can still throw. So it's just like entirely different. So every single player looks much better.
Administration continues standing by Israel.
Anyway, we're going to get back to Biden losing support in Michigan now. Having said that, I'm not saying my performance was phenomenal at all. I fucking sucked.
Israel's deadly attacks on Gaza.
Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine!
Abu Salah says he and his community can no longer support the president.
The same way that they're being silent right now in the face of injustices, we're going to be silent in November 2024.
Abdullah Hammoud is Dearborn's first ever Arab-American mayor and says for many here, the Israel-Hamas...
If you were invited to another dodgeball event, would you actually train for it? Probably not. I say I would, but I'm going to be honest with you, I probably wouldn't. I'll tell you right now, I will, but I won't.
Hamas war is deeply personal.
We have some residents who've lost entire families.
A Democrat, the mayor credits legislation signed by the president for pumping tens of millions of dollars of federal aid into his city.
The domestic policies that President Biden has achieved have been nothing short of phenomenal.
But he has his own strong views on what's happening in Gaza.
You cannot overlook the genocide that's taken place. And you
Man, these losers are in for a massive surprise when Trump treats them like little rats in 2025. I love that, man. Thank you for your support of like humanity. Really demonstrating that politics is simply about your team winning to you. Like, this is what a guy does when he cares about Arab people. He cares about Muslims, you know what I mean? This is what you say to the people that you care about. I love liberals openly showcasing their disdain for those who even say they might not vote for the Democratic Party due to the Democratic Party's actions. It's always so funny. Arab voters who are abandoning Biden over Gaza when they learn that Trump is Islamophobic. Oh, fuck, man. Yeah, shit, dude. Really? It's so funny that people say this or people operate like this. Like, it's a two-party system, brother. Like, good luck. You're basically voting for Trump then. Yeah, dude. Yeah, they know that. And they know Trump is more racist. They know that already. What kind of dumb shit is this? Like, even if you think about it from an electoralist principle, if you just, like, legitimately care so much about Biden's chances, right? You want Biden to win, then you should be trying to pressure the Democratic Party then. Why the fuck are you trying to pressure your fellow voters in the most arrogant and racist way possible? By being like, yeah, Trump is going to kill you. They're going to put you in concentration camps. It's like, great, man, thanks. Yeah, I'm sure you'll be devastated when that happens. You won't. You don't even give a shit. If Biden put you in concentration camps, you wouldn't fight against it. You turn around and say Trump will put you in extra concentration camps. So, of course, vote for Biden even further. Biden only put half of you Muslims in concentration camps. Trump will put 100% of you Muslims in concentration camps. You got to vote for Biden. That's what you would do. instead of pressuring Biden to not put Muslims in concentration camps, you'd be telling all the Muslims, the remaining ones that are not in concentration camps, to vote for the fucking lesser evil. Y'all suck. Everybody sees what you're doing. Every marginalized group from any kind of marginalized background sees exactly what the fuck you're doing. It's unironically so infantilizing that you literally think Muslims are dumb monkeys or something, okay? Just like every other fucking minority group in this country, and can't fucking think critically. The fuck? What is this? Literally, just like straight up being like, you're a fucking idiot. I bet you have no idea what's going on. Okay? I bet you have no idea what'll happen if Trump is president. It's like, what, dude? Are you stupid? People know. People know already.
If Trump wins the next election.
It's so dumb.
You have to weigh that on a scale.
What is your view on how President Biden has responded to what happened on October 7th?
I think it has been awful.
Holding Michigan is key to a Biden victory in 2024. 146,000 Muslim Americans voted here in 2020, with nearly 70% nationwide going for the president. But Abu Salah warns the anger here could cost the president the election. So then what will the people do? Stay home?
No, we're going to go vote, but we're going to keep the top of the ticket empty.
You would skip voting for president in 2024?
Yes.
If you really cared about change, why wouldn't you demand from the party you deem as leftist instead of demanding to be free from the grip of the military-industrial complex, instead of demanding economic reform, instead of demanding the end of the murder of civilians over the world for the benefits of your country? You follow Democrats unconditionally. You're no politically engaged individual. You're just a glorified stan. Yeah, and not even a glorified stan. Misgift hate watcher number 2, who quickest recovery of all time, immediately turned into a woke guy out of nowhere, got banned one time. Yes, that is official now. It doesn't matter if you changed your name for the memes. You are now Misgift hate watcher number 1, who got banned and then became like a woke Stalinist or some shit. Okay. Jokes. Okay. Anyway, it's canon. It's now canon. Yeah, he's like Mr. fucking Party of Socialism and Liberation. I checked their logs. They're a completely different chatter. Yeah, I know they're a completely different chatter. Yeah, you mean like they're a completely different chatter now, right? Anyway. But yeah, this is correct. Also, you're a stand for some dumb shit. That's the worst part. You're a fucking stand for the Democratic Party. You're not even a stand for like Taylor Swift, okay? Taylor Swift at least like makes music that makes people feel like, oh, she's just like me for real. Oh my God, is she talking about my scarf? That's exactly like how I lost my virginity, you know? Meanwhile, the Democratic Party offers nothing to you. It just makes you feel like you are owning the cons a little bit, and you're not really owning them at all.
Even if it meant Donald Trump might win the presidency.
If you were to tell me that my vote would be the vote whether Biden wins in Michigan or not, I will still not vote for Biden.
It's that much of an issue for you.
Yeah, my people dying is that much of an issue for me.
A Biden campaign spokesperson says the president continues to work closely and proudly with leaders in the Muslim and Palestinian communities across the country, while the White House says it is tirelessly working to increase the urgent delivery of aid to the, quote, innocent people of Gaza. Tony?
Really eye-opening conversation.
How can Trump be any better? Trump is not better, dog. Trump is not better. Nobody says Trump is better. Maybe some dumbasses do. But like, no, of course Trump is not better. What, you think Arabs don't know Trump is worse? What the fuck are you saying? What? Quote?
Innocent people. It is leaders in the Muslim and Palestinian communities across the country, while the White House says it is tirelessly working to increase the urgent delivery of aid to the, quote, innocent people of Gaza.
What? I think he put that quote in the wrong place there. He just means like he's quoting the White House. I think we're looking into it a little bit too much. He meant he put like he's saying he's quoting the White House, not that like they're quote unquote innocent people. That would be really funny if this dude is just a raging racist and he just personally said that to be like quote innocent people of Gaza. Like no, he's just terror babies. Will Trump act pro-Muslim after primaries to capture these voters? No. No.
Tony?
Really eye-opening conversations there, Ed. Now, of course, generally in politics, foreign policy doesn't drive votes, but the economy does, and there are other troubling signs in this poll from CBS.
Yeah, foreign policy doesn't drive votes because Americans are like, yeah, fuck yeah, dude. Death and destruction. We don't give a fuck. At best, we don't even see it. At worst, it's like, I mean, at best, we are like, this is the best war that we've ever engaged in. And at worst, we don't even see it. The at best wars, of course, turn into at worst wars quite frequently. And by that turning point, we just deliberately stop covering it on national news. So you just stop seeing the bodies come home, the caskets. That literally happened in Afghanistan and Iraq. So something to remember. Human life over economic policy. That's the Muslim priority. Fuck policy when people are dying. No, it just. Okay. Guys. Understandably, the Muslim community and the Arab voters, like Muslim and Christian Arab voters, are going to look to the situation in Gaza and watch and notice that Biden has like been straight up unconditionally supporting Israel, despite the fact that the media tries to tell you that that's not the case. It is the case. It is absolutely the case. He has been offering unconditional support. That's why we keep giving more and more dumb rockets or dumb munitions, like not rockets, like tank shells. Mark 84s, but also tank shells. Why are we giving them artillery and tank shells? Is that hitting the tunnels? Are we killing Hamas? Or is that actually blowing up buildings and shooting at buildings in general? It's all bullshit. We keep saying, oh, please, I'm urging you, keep civilian casualties to a minimum. Here's also thousands of new munitions that we're offering to you with emergency resupply. It's obvious. Yeah, it's a tankless enemy that you need tank shells for. What's up with that? You have to threaten Biden and the Democrats with something. What is the extent of protest? A strongly worded letter? Yeah, literally. People that say that are just dumb as fuck or don't give a shit about Muslims or the fucking ongoing genocide in Gaza. They just don't care. And that's the truth. There's plenty of people who don't care in America. I think it's like 56% of the country still thinks like Biden's helping Israel just the right amount. A lot of that is, of course, massaged. A lot of that is also, of course, massaged by the media and the media framing of the matter. But still. Trump would be like, Bibi, you know my friend Bibi, great guy. No, he won't say that. No. Trump knows how to read the room well. He's been talking shit about Bibi. He says he's Israel's greatest defender, which is why he doesn't like Bibi Netanyahu no more. Trump hates Bibi Netanyahu. He literally said Bibi's a piece of shit like the other day.
Our polling unit here, most people, 62%, when asked, say they disapprove of Joe Biden's handling of the economy. What is the White House doing to address that part of it?
Yeah, they're doing a few things, Tony. His re-election campaign points out the majority of a $25 million ad campaign that's underway in swing states right now is focused on things the president has done to bring down prices and restore the economy. And that's critical because our poll finds most Americans say their income isn't keeping up with inflation. The ads are starring real people discussing how lower prices for insulin and other medications are helping improve their bottom line. And that's key, because the CBS News poll shows it's people's personal experiences or those of people they know that they base their opinion of the economy on, not data-driven talk about unemployment or inflation rates. So a lot of work to do, Tony.
I mean, considering that I covered this extensively for like 2 hours earlier today, I think you guys have a better understanding of, like, you have a better way of conceptualizing this, right? It's just not, you know. Here, let's watch this.
Election, we will be pointing the finger at you. We always do. What, do you think this is new? You all have been in the same cycle for the last 50 or 60 years. Every single time a Democrat is in office, you all forget that people of color exist until it comes time for an election. And then you try to harass us into voting for your favorite candidate. What? And do you think I'm telling you all to shut the fuck up, to be salacious? To be sarcastic? No. You all are hemorrhaging voters. Hemorrhaging voters. Because not only is Biden a genocidal, non-viable candidate, because you all are acting like sycophants, every single interaction with liberals is fraught with racism, sexism, infantilization, condescension. You all literally hate the people you want to vote for your favorite candidate. And you seem to forget that every single time somebody interacts with you, that is a memory they're taking with them to the voting booth. What, you don't think it works that way? I told you all to be quiet and shut up because you all are your own greatest liability. People literally hate interacting with you. Continue along this path if you want to. But at this point, being quiet is the greatest thing you can do. And I mean that literally.
Yeah. The reason why Democrats routinely shit on minorities, marginalized voters, Bernie bros, all this shit, is because Democratic Party supporters come at it from a perspective of elitism where your vote is expected. It's a two-party system after all. And they utilize the two-party system to their advantage, where it's like, yeah, you shut the fuck up. You don't know any better for yourself. You have to shut up and vote. You have to shut up and vote for the candidate, even if the candidate himself is saying you suck. Even if the candidate himself is openly stating you and people like you and others like you are awful and worthy of genocide. It doesn't matter. Shut the fuck up and vote regardless. Because ultimately there will be harm reduction. And it's like, that's not how politics works in general. That's not a successful strategy even. This is what they did in 2016. Finger wagging is not an effective strategy. Explain to people why you should vote for the Democratic Party and make sure that you pressure the Democratic Party to do things that the people want. Yes, I'm wearing a Razor jacket, okay? Dolce & Gabbana Razor collab sent me a fucking jacket. And I like it because it has a balaclava on the hoodie. I like it because it makes me look like a peasant when I wear it like this. Me lord! I'd be interested to know how many Americans who disapprove of Biden's handling a Gaza war do it for moral reasons versus Republicans who don't think Biden's being pro-Israel enough. Probably more people who are saying Republicans who don't think Biden is pro-Israel enough. But there are plenty of people that are in the Democratic Party who also do not think Biden is doing a good job. You look like an ancient Chinese civil official. I love that. Yeah, people apparently are changing the billboards. Let's be clear. Zionism is your problem too. Jews for Free Palestine. That's kind of cool. What is this? Hillary? Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Hillary Clinton's role in President Biden's re-election campaign is expected to grow in the new year. Oh, no. Boys, is so Jover. It's more Jover than has ever been before. This is the most Jover. We have never arrived at a Jover moment as Jover as this one. It's done. It's done, boys. Wrap it up. Wrap it up. It's gone. It's done. It's over. What? You literally look like this?
Only a fool makes threats he's not prepared to carry out. Now, let's say I threatened to hit you unless you shut your mouth, but you kept talking. What do you think I'd do? I don't give a rap. I'm here by the king's command to take back this castle.
Me lord, you hit me in the fucking face, me lord. Nah, they ate you up, blood? Yeah, no, I agree. That's why I like it. What do you mean? That's why I just said I like looking like a serf.
Hamas war and the assault on southern Gaza. UN officials are warning of a dire humanitarian situation as citizens flee to the border with Egypt. Foreign correspondent James Longman is on the scene in Israel. Good morning, James.
Yeah, good morning, George. Israel says it's on the hunt for Hamas leadership in southern Gaza and that it's almost complete control of the north. But we're on the border with northern Gaza here, and we've heard the sound of ongoing battle here, heavy battle, not just bombardments, but small arms fire. That would suggest that Hamas is coming into close quarters with Israeli fighters. It is taking time to uproot Hamas from Gaza, but with every day that passes, more civilians die.
Israel says it's shifted its focus to southern Gaza. But this morning, battles in the north of the Strip are still raging. 104 IDF soldiers have now been killed in this ground operation, Hamas proving difficult to uproot from northern neighborhoods.
I like the notion of just looking at a situation with the Biden's campaign and the death knell. And you got people like Nate Silver being like, there's a lot of room for debate on how much attention one should pay for the polls, but I don't know, it might be nice if Democrats had a competitive primary process rather than just crossing their fingers and hoping the polls change or are wrong. This is all of this is spelling trouble for the Democratic Party. You even got Nate Bronze out here fucking being like, what are we doing here? This is not good. Okay? And then to fucking hit the final note, to hit the death note, you bring in Hillary Rodham Clinton? Are you kidding me? You were smart enough to leave her the fuck away from the campaign in 2016. I mean, in 2020, sorry. Why? The Democratic consultant class has circled the wagons behind Biden. Would not have been expecting him to be at a 37% approval rating or be polling this poorly against Trump at this time. It could change. Still think next year 50-50, but things are not going to plan. Bro, 3 high-quality pollsters have the Michigan presidential race at New York Times, CNN saying Trump 48-43, Epic MRA Trump 46-41, CNN SSRS Trump 50-40, 10 points over, 5 points over. Is there anything specific going on in Michigan that would explain this? Gretchen Whitmer won by over 10 points like a year ago. It's hard to make sense of this. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, guys. Why would an area with a fucking pretty high, reliable Democratic Party voter block population that loses 140,000 votes in in a matter of 2 months, how could this have happened? I don't know. Let's look at what Big Gretch had to say about Israel-Palestine. On October 8th, Gretchen Whitmer literally was like, yeah, death is really bad across the board. On October 8th, motherfucker, why do you think she said that? Why do you think she didn't come out immediately and be like, every Muslim deserves the death penalty right now? As many of our other Democratic counterparts said. Why? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe because Dearborn, Michigan is a big constituency. It's not just Israel-Palestine. LGBT issues also impact this demographic. I mean, the reason why he's getting fucking cooked here in comparison to Gretchen Whitmer is because, first of all, as a governor, she's great. Younger voters like her. She's going to defend abortion consistently. She polls well. She reads the fucking room. But if you're comparing her to, like, Joe Biden, why is she cooking Joe Brandon? Why is she